If you really want to see what it means to build a better country, it helps to look around and see how other places face their own problems. A lot of times, people think that one country has nothing to learn from another, but almost every nation has come up with clever ways to deal with the same challenges we face. Problems like division, mistrust, or even how to make sure everyone gets a fair shot. There's something almost comforting about realizing that the United States is not the only place dealing with big questions about how to get people working together better, how to find common ground, and how to help each other actually thrive. The best part is, if you're willing to dig a little, you'll find stories and ideas that just make sense for today's world. Think for a minute about times when you've had to solve a problem. Did you always have the answer yourself, or did you sometimes ask a friend, look online, or try something new you'd seen elsewhere? Countries can do the same. The United States spends a lot of time thinking about its own issues, but there's real value in learning from successes and mistakes other nations have made. Taking ideas from other places isn't about copying everything, it's about using wisdom wherever it shows up. It's about seeing the world as a classroom, with every country offering a lesson in how to become more fair, united, and even happier. One powerful lesson comes from looking at how governments around the world try to include people in decisions. What if instead of putting all the responsibility on officials, the focus was on training ordinary people to lead and talk to one another? In places like Kerala in India, Bologna in Italy, and Gdansk in Poland, leaders learned that the best way to make a community stronger is to get out of the way sometimes. They started putting lots of their energy into helping neighbors get to know each other and work together, not just run everything from above. Building leadership and networks can matter more than just more rules or experts. This approach is refreshing, especially for communities in the US that may feel disconnected from their leaders. Letting people have the skills and space to make decisions builds trust. Connection happens from the ground up, not just from the top down. These international efforts show that when officials let community members lead and help them develop real hands-on skills, neighborhoods end up being more involved and less divided. Another thing worth asking, should a country only care about itself? The idea of isolationism has a certain appeal. It promises safety from outside problems. It feels simple, but in today's world, almost nothing is truly separate. Supply chains for simple products stretch from one end of the world to the other, and big problems like climate change or pandemics don't respect national borders. There's an economic concept called comparative advantage, which basically says every country will do better if it focuses on what it does best and trades for the rest. No place can make everything it needs at a good price all on its own. Sometimes cooperating and connecting makes everyone richer. At the same time, getting too involved everywhere can spread resources thin, and in some extreme cases, overreaching abroad contributed to problems for big powers in history. The real skill is figuring out how much to open up, when to pull back, and always looking for balance. Policy decisions are often talked about in long, heavy reports, but some of the best advice comes straight from people who have spent years studying these problems. For example, a popular recommendation from respected experts is for the US to strengthen its ties with partners in Asia, like by rejoining major trade partnerships. This isn't just about trade, it's also a way of showing commitment to allies and staying engaged in world affairs that matter. Another key thing is protecting programs that send Americans abroad to learn and help out, like the Peace Corps or Fulbright scholarships. When people from different countries meet as friends, not just through screens or negotiations, it opens up new ways to cooperate. Canceling these programs would mean missing out on understanding other cultures and building friendships that last for decades. While some ideas from expert reports are straightforward and easy to picture, others may require more study or a fresh look at old assumptions. Still, it's clear that real specific steps like working together on a new trade deal or defending ways for young people to travel and study can give any leader a toolkit for taking on complicated global issues. A smart way to stay on top of world changes is to keep questioning what used to work. Not everything is as simple as it first seems. Some recent discussions have challenged basic beliefs by pointing out that America doesn't always need to lead every international agreement. Sometimes stepping back lets others step up, or even helps the project succeed. Of course, it's also true that if the US actively works against an agreement, progress can stall for everyone. Recent conflict in Europe has shown that more help isn't always the answer. For example, in the case of the Ukraine war, just sending extra aid is unlikely to change the outcome if larger issues aren't addressed. Long struggles can turn into situations where no one wins easily. This means the best approach might be finding lots of types of help and involving many countries rather than just repeating the same old methods. One of the most important lessons from studying these international examples is the value of admitting what you don't know. Even people who follow the news every day find out there's a lot more below the surface. It's easy to think you know how the world works until you see all the different ways other countries run schools, healthcare, or voting. Being open to new terms, new ideas, and even uncomfortable facts is what leads to better choices. When you realize you're not the only one facing a problem, the problem feels smaller and the solution gets bigger. If there's one takeaway, it's that you never really finish learning from the world. Each article, study, or story offers another piece of advice for how to get better at solving problems. As countries change, so do the methods they use to improve life for their citizens. The trick is staying curious, always looking for what works, and not getting stuck with old ways just because they're familiar. America, and any country, can grow stronger by listening, not just talking. By paying attention to international success stories and mistakes, and by always being willing to test what's normal, a nation develops the confidence to make smarter, more united choices. It's less about following rules and more about asking, what could we do if we really learned from everyone around us? Building bridges across communities, protecting meaningful connections with the wider world, and guarding the ability to question old habits aren't just nice ideas, they are necessary steps for any country that wants to keep moving forward. You don't need a specialized language or a law degree or any insider knowledge to start this process. All you need is an open mind and a willingness to listen. Try something new and see your own country as a work in progress, always ready to be made a little bit better by learning from the world around you. Thank you for watching and have a good day.